So I'm looking to see if the C-Star app is updated. I have loaded the C-Star app and it didn't come up telling me that there was an update, but I have heard that it's been deployed. So I want to go look. I go into the App Store. I click on my profile in the top right corner and then click on the apps and then go into my apps. Scroll down till I find the C-Star one. And it says right there, there's an update to be had. Sometimes it will say open, or if you click on it, it will tell you there's an update. But mine says update here, so I'm going to run that update. It looks like it's going fairly fast. I'm excited to try this. I hope that it really works like I anticipate, especially for that GoTo in the plan. You know, if something fails, I don't want it to just stop that section of the plan. I want it to keep trying. And so hopefully that is fixed. I'm hoping that the red screen that we can get sometimes has been fixed. My daughter imaged something last night and got that red screen. And so maybe I'll ask her to do the update and run the same object tonight and see if that's been fixed. There are a couple other things, so that's what we're going to do tonight. I'm going to open the app and it's connected and it's telling me to update the firmware that is on the C-Star. So the app is telling the actual C-Star to fix its software. That's what the app kind of does when it does an update. And so it goes pretty fast. And well, the installing can take a little bit longer. But that's how you do the update. And then once I get it updated, I will set it up outside and test some of the things. I'm hoping to test the plan with, I'll put in objects that I know that it won't be able to find. I'm kind of curious to see how long it will keep trying or how many times it will try. You know, I'm going to set up a plan and that I know it's going to fail, but I want to find out at what point. Does it just continuously keep trying, or does it wait a few minutes and then try again, or does it wait a half hour and try again until it finds it, or does it eventually give up if it's a long period of time that it can't find it? You know, those are some of the questions I have about that part of the update, and I'm hoping to get some answers about that tonight. And so once I do that, I'll show you the plan set up and then I'll bring you back. Okay, so my update is completed. The light on my C-Star, it's not yellow like this says, it's green. So I'm assuming that it's all updated and ready to go. So I think what we're going to do, I don't know, it's still kind of sitting here. It says the update is completed, the C-Star is green. Maybe I have to restart the app. Let me try that because it wouldn't let me click anywhere. Oh, that's what we had to do. So now we're connected to the C-Star. I'm going to set up a plan for, let's do the Horsehead Nebula, because I know that one is too low in the sky right now for me, but it comes up at about 4 a.m. So I want to do that one because I know that it's going to fail, at least in the beginning, but I know that it can catch it a little bit later on. And so let's go here. Yeah, see it's below until about 2 or 3 a.m. It hits 20 degrees, I guess about 12:30 in the morning. And so we're going to locate that target. I'm going to do some framing on it because I am going to devote a little bit of time and might as well get a nice image of it if we can. It looks like the rotation is pretty nice on it. So we're going to add that here. It won't actually let me add it until that point, but it's going to fail for longer than that point in time, just because of where it sits in the sky for me. I have houses in the way, and so I know it's going to fail until it hits a little higher in the sky. So that's my plan. I'll probably add something else in the beginning just so that it's not sitting out there doing nothing. But that's my plan, is to execute this plan, and we will see how the new update works. So I'll let you know. We'll take some images. I'll let you know and report back how that worked. All right, I've brought you back to the plan. At 12:40 a.m. it's supposed to switch to the Horsehead Nebula, and it's going to fail to find it because it's currently behind my house. It's in the process of doing the Bubble Nebula. I wanted to check out to see if it was still doing that red hue, and it is still pretty red. And so I don't know that that has been fixed. But I guess we'll just have to watch and see if it's just a fluke that the Bubble Nebula is all pretty red. But so far it doesn't look like that purple red hue has been fixed. All right, so it's at 12:40 and it just switched to the Horsehead Nebula. And then let's go in here. So my plan is we know it's supposed to start at 12:40. I know it's going to fail because it's behind my house. What I'm curious about is previously in the plan, if it failed after, I don't know the given amount of time, but it would try to locate it for a minute or two. And then if it failed, it would just stop trying to find it. And then it would go to the next, wait until the next object in the plan. And so you could lose chunks of time. And in this case, I have put the Horsehead Nebula from now until 7 o'clock in the morning. And I know that it's going to fail, and I'm guessing it's going to fail till about 4 a.m. in the morning. That's when it gets high enough to go over the house that's in the way. And so I'm curious to see. I'm hoping to see it fail at least once before I go to bed. But I'm curious how often it's going to retry. Because if it tries as soon as it gets to the object, it's trying to find it right now, and it's going to fail. And then it's telling you, there's the failure. And then it tries to recenter it and tries again. And it does this for, I don't even know the amount of time, but it's not very long. A minute or two, I think, is about all it tries. And then once it fails for whatever that given amount of time is, it would quit trying to find it. So I'm curious, once it does that, is it going to retry consistently? So is it going to keep trying to find it all through that period of time? Or is it going to stop trying and then try again in a half hour or 15 minutes? Or, I hope I'm explaining that right. I'm kind of curious to see if it takes too long. I'm not sure I'll stay up and wait for it because it's just late for me. And I'm getting tired. And so I don't know how long I'll wait to see that. I'm hoping it will just continuously keep trying. Then another thing I want to check out in the morning is once it can find it, I want to see what time that exposure starts imaging. And I should be able to find that by going into the C-Star in the My Works folder and finding out what time that first exposure saves. And I guess if we get up in the morning and it didn't save any of them, we'll know that there's maybe a flaw in the plan still. Or we'll have to try it on something different, or, I guess it's possible that there's something happening at night if a cloud goes through or something that I don't know about right now. there could be other factors that play into that, but I'm kind of curious to see how it works. It has been probably about 2 minutes so far that it hasn't found it. It took about a minute to do the initialization and to track over to where the Horsehead Nebula was from what I was imaging. Looks like I do need to go and put a battery on it. I did turn on the light pollution filter because the dew heater, because it is supposed to be a little chilly tonight. So far, it hasn't quit trying. Okay, system alert. Seastar failed to recognize the target. Something, and then it disappeared before I could read the whole thing. So we'll see how long. I don't really know that I'll record this whole time because that would be a kind of boring video for you to watch it just sitting here, because I don't know if it's going to try again in 5 minutes, or is it going to try again in a half hour, or is it going to be an hour? I just don't know how quickly it's going to try again. I should have clicked on that little message when it popped up, but I was trying to read it and it disappeared too fast. Maybe it would have told me. So I'll stop the recording, and if I'm able to figure that out, I'll for sure let you know when we check this in the morning, and then we'll see if it does eventually find it when it is above where it needs to be, so I can see it. So I'll bring it back. Have a good evening, and we'll see you in the morning. So it looks like about 5 minutes later, it's trying again. So it tried at 12:40. It took about a minute for it to slew over there and to locate the target or area. And then it took about 3 minutes, I think, 2 or 3 minutes to try and find it. And when it didn't, it gave me that error that it couldn't find it. And then it kind of went to the screen of just the live view. And then at 12:49, it is trying again. So it looks like it tries every 5 minutes to find it. We'll see if it ends up doing that all night long. I don't know if I'll wait up for it or if I'll try and screen record it. I'm just afraid if I do that, it's going to be too long and won't save the video on my device. But we can try it. But from what I can tell right now, it waits 5 minutes and then tries again. And so we'll see how it goes. So I'll bring you back in the morning when we have some more data about when it did find it, and see how we like it and if it works for us. We'll see you in the morning. I was just going to bed, and I went look outside, and look what I found. This is off of our weather app. 2 a.m., it's cloudy. 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., cloudy or partly cloudy. And then at 8 a.m., the sun starts coming out, and then it was sunny the rest of the day. So that, is typical. It always happens when you've got something in mind that you want to do, but it clouded over and there wasn't a star to be seen in the sky. So I just brought the Seastar in, and we'll try again the next night. And so I'll do the same exact thing as I already laid out, but I'm going to have to do it tomorrow night. So I'm currently running a plan, waiting for that Horsehead Nebula to come up, but it's not doing super fabulous because this is the Triangulum Galaxy, and it is up near the zenith, and we've got a pretty decent moon going on tonight. So I was wanting to look around in the Sky Atlas and see if I could find something else to replace that with. And when I pull up the Sky Atlas, it's showing the plan down in the bottom. So it really hinders being able to use the Sky Atlas. It takes up a lot of the real estate on the screen and makes it a little bit harder to navigate. this part of the screen. I don't remember it being that way ever, so I'm thinking it must be something to do with the new update, and it locks that on that screen. Has anybody else noticed that, and have you done anything about it? I don't know. I can turn off it's like it runs, but it keeps that plan, excuse me, down in the bottom. That's something I'm not loving. All right, we are back. It's the next morning, and we want to check out how the plan worked and if we were able to image the Horsehead Nebula. I did change up the plan just a little bit since we already determined that the plan will execute every 5 minutes. It will do that continuous GoTo attempting to find it. So every 5 minutes, it will try to find it. And then I didn't want to waste a couple hours worth of time trying to test that again because we already knew the answer. So if it fails on the GoTo, it will try 5 minutes later. And so as you can see from the plan here, the little box around each object is now green. And if you tap on the plan, it will say the observation succeeded. And so what I had done is I changed the time on the Horsehead Nebula to start at 3:30. That's really close to the time when it starts to become visible, but it's not a guarantee at 3:30. I think it's maybe even 15-20 minutes later that it becomes visible over my house. And so I thought I was safe to try it at that time, and that's why I changed the time. And so you can come in here and you can see the update that I made right before I executed the plan. But now what I want to do is see if it imaged anything. And so I click on the My folder, go to the C Star, and right here in the center on the left is the Horsehead Nebula. I can tell from the picture. There's one picture that it saved, and this is a JPEG picture. And so it was able to save the Horsehead Nebula. And if I zoom in, you can really see that horsehead in there. So it saved a fairly decent number of exposures to get this good of a picture. And so that's encouraging. And from here, I could go in and do the editing and brighten it up a little bit, or darken the background, or crop it. I could do those things in the app. We won't take the time here to do that right now, but we know that we got an image, and because we got an image that is fairly decent, we know that we collected a fair number of subs or exposures. And so the folder right next to it in the center, very center of the screen, is the subs folder. And let's see, how many did it say it saved? 399. It's really faint when you're trying to look at this in the daytime. It's really kind of hard to read that because the number is kind of grayed out, and my cell phone screen is pretty small. So I think it says 399. It may say 389. I don't know. Old eyes. So what I want to find out is the last exposure that it saved at 7:19 in the morning. And I think the plan was set up to end at 7:20, so that it imaged right up to the end. So that's a good plan if it's going to go right till the end. But what I want to know is how quickly it did start. It saved. The very first exposure was saved at 3:40. So this plan for this object started at 3:30. So there was a little time of probably one attempt and a failure, and then the second GoTo, that continuous GoTo, was successful and was able to image it. And so it worked great. The plan it didn't fail, because if it was 10 minutes and it had failed prior to the update, it would have canceled that whole part of the plan, that whole Horsehead Nebula plan, and we would have lost 400 attempts at good exposures. And so, with 10 minutes between 3:30 and 3:40, it would have failed, and we couldn't have gathered any of those exposures. So this continuous go-to function that they added in the update, it's fabulous. That was a great enhancement to the app. I am thrilled with it. It worked pretty nicely. They did make a change, I think, on the little tutor helper star is gone. I did do a quick video explaining to people that it was gone, because since I had done the video talking about it, it disappeared so quickly. I'm actually kind of glad I did the video, because now it's proof that I wasn't crazy. I had video shots of it. But I think probably, I'm guessing here, but what happened with the little ZWO star that was the little tutor helper thing, it probably wasn't ready to be released, and a line in the code that they are working on didn't get hidden, or I don't know exactly, but I'm guessing that it wasn't quite ready to be deployed, and it accidentally got deployed in the update. And so they ran a patch that would fix that and bypass that for now. My guess is it will reappear sometime in the future, and I think that's a great enhancement to the app. However, the feedback that I've gotten back from my video, as well as my opinion, is that we want to be able to turn that thing off. I don't want it continuously running on the live stacking screen the whole time, because I really just don't have questions that often. When we get our C stars in the very beginning, we might have questions on how do I do the autofocus, and we may ask it a question, but a month later we don't have that many questions, because we've encountered the questions, found the answers, and moved on. So basic tutorial questions probably don't pop up that often. One thing with that app that I am guessing is going to be coming once they do figure that out and work through any of the issues, is that it will control the C star. The little pop-up box that came up in the screen to tell us to turn on and off the microphone to enable it to help us did say something about it being able to control the C star. And I could not get it to do any of the control. So, for example, if I, instead of wanting to know what the autofocus does or how to do it, I'm assuming that at some point we're going to be able to tell it, do an autofocus on this, and it will. But it didn't, I wasn't able to get it to do any of the commands that I gave it. So I'm guessing it's still just being worked on and perfected. It would sometimes talk to me in English, sometimes talk to me in Chinese. I think it just wasn't quite ready to be deployed, and it was probably an oversight that it got deployed with the update, and it was taken down pretty quickly. And so that has disappeared. I do hope that they fix it so when you're running a plan and you go into the Sky Atlas, the bottom half of the screen was showing the plan. I hope they get rid of that, because that leaves very little screen for you to find things. If the bottom half of the screen is taken up by the plan, that leaves a very small window to look for things in the future. If you want to look around while it's imaging, it leaves very little room to do that. And I hope that's an oversight and that will be fixed. In as far as other things that happened with the update, nothing has crashed on mine. I heard a couple of people with Android devices was having trouble loading the update and it would crash their app. My guess is that will be fixed very quickly. They'll just run patches to fix those. But I do want to notice that down in the community tab, some things have changed down here, and it's possible that it's not with this app update, but I just haven't looked in a while. The Comet Chronicles is something that is new. This was prior to the app update because I saw it a few days before the app update. But you can submit your rendition of the comet and submit it for a badge, and that's kind of fun. Now they have the Caldwell Grand Slam instead of the Messier Grand Slam up here in the top. They just have these two challenge kind of things. So the Caldwell catalog is now on there as one of the Grand Slams where you can submit your versions and collect badges. The Messier version still is in here. Let's see if I can find where it is. These are all the pictures. I think it's in the Discover portion. I'm not really sure. There's the contest. Oh, here's some of them. There's the Sun contest. That one has ended. That one has ended. That one, the Comet Chronicles, is the ongoing one. Oh, here's the Messier Grand Slam. And so if you click on it, you can still reach the Messier one. It's just not front and center like it used to be. When you load the community tab, it does take a little bit longer to load. It kind of looks like the app is crashing. It goes to a black screen. It used to have the Messier Grand Slam up here in the top, but now it has the Caldwell one. And so there's a few different things in there that are probably were there before the app update. So that's probably just because I haven't looked in a while. As far as the update, I haven't seen had the problems that other people maybe have reported. Those were the only real major changes that I saw. You know, a feature that if anybody at ZWO research and development is watching my videos, I would love to have a way to turn on the C-Star from the app. Just a way for it to send a clue to your C-Star to turn on so that I could turn it on from outside. That would be a great feature. Maybe the little ZWO star thing will make that happen. I don't know. Maybe it's not possible. I know people are using finger bots and things, but I haven't. It's not a big enough issue that it's worth me paying for a finger bot because they're a little pricey. I mean, they're $30 to $50, I think, depending on what kind you get. But it's just one more gadget to buy, I guess. I don't know. So I haven't invested in one of those. So our plan did work. The Unlimited GoTo in the app is fabulous. We're thrilled with that part. And we look forward to some of the changes they're going to make in the future. You know, with the ZWO tutor bot, I think that's going to be coming in the future. Let's just hope they get the word that we don't want it permanently on the screen. We want to be able to turn it on or off, make it visible or not visible. It also needs to be available in other areas of the app other than just the live stacking screen, because in the live stacking screen, you can't really do a lot without stopping your current execution or your current imaging to do anything. So if you want to do the autofocus, you would have to stop the imaging and do the autofocus and then resume, which you can do, but there's very few commands you could do with that little ZWO bot in the live stacking screen. So making it available in a different place on the C Star app would be good. I think it would be good in the, where you toggle on to get the full screen. Maybe make a toggle button up there to turn it on and off or something. I don't know. That's for them, I guess, to figure out. But that's what we have discovered with the update. I think the continuous GoTo is fabulous. And so I know that they're continuing to do improvements and enhance the app, and they're really supporting the community with the updates that they're trying to do. So when they have little bumps in the road, I hope people are patient. At least they're improving the app along the way and providing us with a great service beyond just the creation of the C Star. Anyway, we hope everybody else is enjoying their C Stars, and give the Unlimited GoTo a try in yours, and hopefully that will save us a lot of dropped imaging through the plan. We're wishing clear skies to everybody, and thanks for watching.